going to discuss the sustainable development and also the global food security. And for the learning objective, we're going to learn to differentiate the stability from sustainability and also to articulate models of global sustainable development. So, what is sustainable development goals? The Sustainable Development Goals, or also known as SDGs, are a set of 17 global goals created by the UN or United Nations to guide countries toward a better and more balanced future. They focus on solving major issues like poverty, hunger, poor health, lack of education, climate change, and also inequality. Each goal works together to support long term progress without harming the environment or future generations. The SDGs encourage nations, communities, and individuals to take action in building a world that is fair, safe, and sustainable for everyone. Now, we're going to differentiate the stability from sustainability. So basically, stability refers to the condition where a system, community, or environment remains steady and secure and also resistant to sudden changes. It means things are functioning normally and are not easily disrupted. Sustainability, on the other hand, means using resources wisely so that future generation can still meet their needs. It basically focuses on a long-term balance, protecting the environment, supporting economic growth, and also improving people's well-being all at the same time. So together, stability and also sustainability help create societies that can grow, adapt, and also thrive without causing harm or running out of resources.
Models of global sustainable development. These models helps guide countries towards integrating environmental protection, economic stability, and social welfare into development planning. They provide essential frameworks for policymakers to understand the interconnectedness of these three pillars and to formulate strategies that promotes long-term well-being without compromising the needs of future generations.
The history of the Sustainable Development Goals, also known as SDGs. So SDGs traces back to the 1992 Earth Summit in Rio, where the concept of sustainable development was established. So these concepts were further developed through the Millennium Development Goals, also known as MDGs. So MDGs runs to year 2000 to 2015. This focused on tackling extreme poverty. In 2012, the Rio Plus 20 conference called for the creation of a new set of universal goals, leading to the development of the 17 SDGs, which were officially adopted by the United Nations in 2015 as the 2030 Agenda of Sustainable Development to replace the MDGs. So the SDGs were adopted by the United Nations in 2015. So they evolved from earlier global initiatives to address social, environmental, and economic challenges.
So next is, what are the Sustainable Development Goals or SDGs? The Sustainable Development Goals or SDGs are 17 global goals created by the UN or United Nations in 2015. They serve as a universal plan to improve life for people everywhere and protect the planet. The SDGs aim to be achieved by the year 2030. They focus on three main areas. Number one is improving lives, ending poverty, stopping hunger, ensuring education, promoting good health. So number two is protecting the environment, fighting climate change, protecting oceans and forests. Number three is prosperity, creating a better future for all, creating jobs, fair opportunities, peace, and strong institutions. So why were SDGs created? It's because the world faces big challenges like what we did today. Too many people's lives in poverty, millions suffers from hunger. Inequality is still widespread. The planet faces climate change and pollution. Many do not have educations, clean water or healthy care. So, SDG give every nation as a clear set of goals to work on so the world becomes safer, fairer, and more sustainable. So, what makes the SDGs important? They help countries work together. They guide policies, programs, and developments. They protect both people and the environment. They ensure progress is sustainable not just for today but for the future generation. In simple terms, the SDGs are the world's long-term plan for a better life and better planet by 2030.
Next is the most important sustainable development goal. This topic involves identifying which SDG has the greatest impact based on context. Some view education, climate action, or poverty reduction as the most critical. In short, the most important SDG depends on what problem is seen as most urgent and what will create the greatest positive impact. Each SDG supports the others, but different situation makes some goals more urgent than others.
First, factors leading to global food security. Global food security depends on having enough food available and ensuring people can access and properly use it for nutrition. It also requires stable food systems so that supply and access remain reliable even during disruptions like climate change or economic crisis. In short, global food security depends on having enough food and ensuring people can access and use it properly. It also requires stable systems that keep food supply reliable during disruptions. Second, state of food security in the Philippines during the pandemic. During the pandemic, the Philippines faced supply chain disruptions, rising food prices, and widespread income loss, which made food less accessible for many families. These challenges increased hunger and forced more households to rely on government assistance and relief goods. In short, the pandemic made food harder to access in the Philippines due to supply problems, higher prices, and loss of income. These issues increased hunger and pushed many families to depend on government aid.
And next is 5 components of food security. The 5 components includes: first is availability, having enough food. Second, access, being able to obtain food. Third, utilization, proper nutrition and safe consumption. And fourth is stability, consistent supply over time. Last is agency, ability to participate in decision about food system.
Threats to global food security. So what is threats to global food security? So threats to global food security, this includes climate change, conflict and instability, population growth, and economic factors. These stressors disrupt food production through extreme weather, damage supply chains with violence, increase demands, and make food less accessible due to rising prices and poverty. So environmental issues like soil degradation, water scarcity, and biodiversity loss further undermine agricultural resilience. So global food security is increasingly threatened by a combination of environmental, social, and political factors. So climate change remains one of the most serious challenges as extreme weather events, rising temperature, and changing rainfall patterns reduce crop yields and disrupt agricultural systems. So rapid population growth further increased the demands for foods, putting pressure on already strained resources. Conflict and political instability also play a major role by displacing farmers, so destroying farmlands and interrupting food supply chains, which lead to higher price and reduced access. At the same time, poverty and economic inequality prevent millions of people from affording nutritious food even when it is available.
Food security possible? Achieving global food security remains attainable, but it requires a coordinated, multi-layered approach that addresses both immediate needs and long-term structural challenges. Food security is not simply about producing enough food. It involves ensuring that all people at all times have physical, social, and economic access to safe and nutritious food. This means countries must adopt sustainable agriculture practices, strengthen governance system, and create economic conditions that support resilience among farmers and consumers alike. Sustainable agriculture is essential to this effort. Practices such as climate-smart farming, soil regenerating, efficient water management, and responsible use for fertilizers can significantly increase productivity while reducing environmental damage. These strategies help create stable food systems that can withstand environmental stresses such as droughts, floods, and rising temperatures.